VGC is supported by Patreon. Check out patreon.com/videogameschronicle for more podcasts, ad-free browsing, and extra content. Thank you for your support. Hello and welcome to VGC's Game Awards prediction podcast for 2025. I'm Jordan Midler and I'm joined by 9-time Game Award winner Andy Robinson and 19-time Game Award winner Chris Scullion. Andy, how are you doing?
I'm alright, how are you?
I'm good. Are you ready to head back to the City of Angels, Los Angeles?
No, I'm not.
No.
And you know what actually makes it extra awkward is that you can't ever tell at any one time what the weather's going to be like in LA.
Yeah.
I checked, thinking I'll have to pack some jumpers. It's like 27, 28 degrees. Uh-oh. My dog,
Moshi cannot believe the absolute 27 degrees.
She's
in
just
December.
seen another dog.
Dogs are you going to leave your jumpers? I can't believe it.
I know. Especially because you're right on the water in LA, so you get that coastal wind. Speaking of coastal wind, Chris Scullion, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I apologise in advance for any background noise you might hear. We've decided to record this during lunchtime, and it seems that my wife has decided that today is the day she's going to throw a million pots and pans all over the place while making her lunch, by the sounds of it. So.
We're starting beef across the three different recording zones here, so I'll try and do the same. My dearly beloved is currently afflicted with the lurgy that I had last week, so she's completely out of the game, so she won't come in here and give her opinions on what's going to be at the Game Awards, the biggest night in games. It's an interesting show. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. We know some stuff that's going to be at the Game Awards, however, we are not going to spoil that. That's not going to be in our predictions. We're not going to go, I hear they're going to do Tekken 90, and we know they're going to do Tekken 90. It's none of that kind of jiggery pokery. This is just raw predictions. Let's kick off with this bloody statue, Chris Scullion. Yes. You earlier in the chat said that you'd either read or came up with or had beaten to death someone to get the information of a theory of what is in this mysterious statue.
So it's been shot down. A few things have been shot down. God of War's been shot down. Big Corey himself has come out and says it's not that. Someone suggested it might be in a Diablo expansion. Journalist Jason Schreier's came out and says, I know what it is, and it's
I've heard of him. Yeah.
It rings a bell. I've seen a theory online which I'm 99% behind, that it's Altered Beast, Sega's classic Altered Beast. Because when you look at the statue, there's loads of kind of faces, like hell type faces in it, but there's also like a werewolf in it and a dragon and a bear and all the kind of things that your guy turns into an Altered Beast. The only thing that gives me pause is that wasn't one of the 5 games Sega listed as games that it was working on in the future. It was like Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, and Shinobi, and Altered Beast wasn't one of them. So that's the only thing that makes me think, what's going on here? But other than that, it fits Altered Beast. But I don't know.
Have we heard anything about those 5 since they announced them? Could it be a case of one of those is dropped off?
Shinobi's out. Shinobi's the first, but for the other 4, no. So we
Where's
might
Crazy
get
Taxi, Chris Scullion?
I'm worried about Crazy Taxi.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you do any more than the basics.
Yeah.
And
you've kind of taken one of mine, because you can kind of see who's likely to be at these shows, because it's usually the same companies. Sega's a big supporter of the Game Awards and Summer Game Fest. Last year, they announced a bunch of Ryoga Gotoku games, right? The new IP. And I think did they announce Virtua Fighter or did they show Virtua Fighter? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
But they announced the kind of the initiative to revive all the classic IPs at the Game Awards in the first place. That was, I believe, at least 2 years ago. But what is time? It might have been 3 years ago. So they're due. I would not be surprised if they show one of those at this show. I know they've. I'm actually quietly confident that they're going to do a good job of that as well. Like from what I've been hearing behind the scenes, the people they're involving, Sega's quite a unique company in the sense that it's still kind of has ongoing relationships with past employees. I think that's the sense that you get being around them. Japan side is that I know a bunch of original Sega creators, and they're still consulting and. And popping in to, see whatever they're working on, even if they're not directly working on it. I think they're taking seriously, the act of reviving these. Their CEO is a guy who has a lot of respect for, classic Sega. And, to your point, the Shinobi game, they absolutely knocked out of the park. I think they're going to have a big, big hit, Sega, in the next couple of years. Their Resident Evil 2 remake moment, or their Monster Hunter Worlds moment that kind of really kickstarts their next era, because they've done a lot. They've been doing a lot of things behind the scenes, but obviously you don't really see the fruit until a good couple of years in the game development world.
I would guess
that ties into, if we're talking about Sega, that ties into one of mine as well. I fully expect this is where we see Persona 4, the long, multiple time announced by former voice actors, Persona 4.
Sega will definitely have something.
I would guess of the four that are left of the 5 they announced, so Crazy Taxi, Jet Set, Golden Axe, and Streets of Rage. I would guess if they just showed one, I would guess Jet Set Radio. Based on the trailer they showed 2 years ago, that looked furthest along.
Yeah, and I know people who are working on that, and they've started doing some odds. Like they did an anniversary event in Los Angeles, which seemed a bit odd. I get the impression that one's furthest along as well.
Yeah, it seems certainly the footage they showed earlier looked the most close to completion, other than Shinobi, obviously, which we've now got. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm hoping this Altered Beast thing ends up becoming a thing as well, because that's a personal favourite of mine. It's not got a big. It's weird that's going to let down a lot of people if that's what it is, because nobody's expecting Altered Beast. But if it is, I'll be delighted. A happy man.
There's also some chat that it may have been Saros, Housemarque's new game, because the neon lights and stuff like that, which would be, to me, a weird one, because there's not much left to know about Saros, because it's got its release date. It's out in March.
I don't know why Sony would kind of invest in such a big marketing stunt, especially because, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they typically go big at the Game Awards, because they usually have a big state of play earlier in the year, don't they?
Well, Naughty Dog usually gives Jeff something. They're usually I'm pretty sure Jeff got Intergalactic and Jeff got Last of Us Part 1 remastered or whatever. So I think if Saros,
but one of those was Summer Game Fest. I mean, if they've got something to talk about, so you got to imagine there's going to be a big state of play in February, which I think is when it usually is, and they're going to talk about Wolverine. They're going to talk about Saros and whatever else I mean, maybe they'll save something for a summer one, right? So you wouldn't expect them to put that into an event like this. They don't typically do that, I don't think.
I think you'll maybe get a trailer because it's out in March, but it would just be a trailer. It wouldn't be anything more.
More than that.
I think Capcom is probably going to be a bit quieter this year as well. They usually go big at these, but they've got quite a lot of games coming out, in the first half of next year. So I think you're probably going to see RE9. You're probably going to see that big Leon reveal that everyone's been waiting for. The worst kept secret in the games industry. Probably more Pragmata. Probably more Onimusha. I don't know if they would drop something on top. I mean, they're working on a lot of stuff. Capcom. They're working on a lot of revivals. So they could announce one of them. They could announce Dead Rising. They could announce, one of the others that they're working on.
You might just get another one of their retro compilations that they keep firing out. You might get Arcade Fighters Volume 3 or something like that, or just something just to keep people happy. A new announcement that requires relatively little development compared to the kind of the grand stuff. So I'd imagine you might get something like that, just here's the last 17 Mega Man games we haven't put in a compilation yet, now in a compilation or something like that. I would guess.
I'm struggling to think what would be not that it feels like a down year, but it feels like there's not tons that could be announced. There's not.
Well, I mean, the last two Game Awards have been the best, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And there's a good reason for that. We're getting further into the generation. We're like mid to late gen now, right? The problem that we had the previous years was not just that people's games, not because they weren't ready because of the stage of the console cycle we're in, but also because of the pandemic, right? There were some genuine underwhelming shows from Jeff, and you can only go and get whatever's available, and the games weren't ready. Whereas I think now, where the games are cooked, right? I think if people are going to be ready to announce games, probably the only one of the issues you'd have now is how much Xbox do they want to be working with Jeff, or because technically Xbox are now a rival, because they own tons and tons of content. So they put on a show, and they're on every platform, right? So they can put on a show and go, oh, here's the next Call of Duty, here's Forza, here's Fable. So I don't know whether they, turn up in any big way. It's usually the Japanese companies, the Japanese and the Chinese, the Asian companies, right? Which these days seems odd to say because there's no American companies left, seemingly. But so your Bandai Namco is probably going to chip in with something, I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo came back. I know they've not been there for several years. I think Smash Joker reveal was the last one. So, Christ, what have we been, 2018, 2017? Something like that. Oh, no, they're Bayonetta 3, but again, may have been pushed by Platinum. Not that they'd have any say. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Nintendo come back in some form, even if it's a Galaxy movie clip. I think they had a Mario Brothers movie clip, didn't they? So I suppose they had that as well, in a non-game sense. This event makes sense from a transmedia point of view, right? Yeah. If you're working on a game movie or something, usually they turn up. Wouldn't be totally surprised if we see Final Fantasy, right? 7 Remake 3. I mean, they've been teasing that announcement for ages. They've been on record saying they know when they're going to show it and they're going to gear up very, very soon. I interviewed the director, 2 months ago, and he was, he was very hesitant on getting the message across that, look, we're working on it. You're not going to have to wait long. Wouldn't be surprised if we see that. Maybe even Kingdom Hearts, right? It's got to come back at some point.
That would be a big closer. Either Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts would be kind of a huge one. But it's as you were saying, like I'm looking through a list of studios, and this is the list of Sony studios at the minute, and a lot of them, like Blue Point, they're just gearing up on their next thing after the absolute bin fire that was the game that got cancelled. Guerrilla is working on the co-op Horizon game that's not been announced in Horizon 3, so probably nothing from them. Insomn, we know Wolverine.
That wasn't me.
I absolutely fucking shat myself there. We know Naughty Dog isn't going to be there per...
speaking of Naughty Dogs.
Yeah, speaking of Naughty Dogs. Polyphony Digital. Me and Chris are really hoping for Gran Turismo 8, but we'll see.
I can't wait.
It's Santa Monica. Santa Monica is the one that... I know Barlog came out and said this isn't that statue wasn't God of War, but they've got this God of War side-scrolling game that's just been in the ether for so long. Just because that statue wasn't it doesn't mean they can't come out and still show it. I wonder, because Sony's got 2 big games next year. It's got Saros and Wolverine, and Saros is a game for the hardcores. That's not going to massively move the needle or anything like that. It feels like it needs to spin up some more of its projects. I mean, what if Team Asobi came out and announced a new Astrobot game? Come on now, VGC would be on the moon. Andy would pop out from his chair.
I would smile a bit in that.
Nicholas comes out and goes, "Hello, we've got a new one." But
I think a boring but safe prediction. I think we'll get a release date for Elden Ring Tarnished Edition on Switch 2.
Yeah.
There's one that won't be very exciting, but maybe they'll show some footage that is improved, because that's the big thing. Everyone says everyone was. They've
got to show their Switch game, right? Surely. What's it called?
Oh yeah, the Dust Bloods.
The Dug's Bloods. Yeah,
that's got to be there. Surely. I mean, if they've got a game, they're with Jeff. And they've got a game. Yeah. I mean, they need to show that thing. This is the audience. Nintendo probably makes sense from them from a marketing point of view, because that sort of game is outside of their typical demographic. So if you want to show it to other people who might then come in and buy a Switch 2 for that, who wouldn't necessarily watch a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, I also wonder how many other... if we're at the point now where a lot of studios will now start saying, okay, this is coming to Switch 2 and that's coming to Switch 2, because it's now been a while since some of them might have had dev kits and might have been testing their existing catalogues to see how well they can port over. So, I mean, I would guess you'll get an indie Switch 2 release date for Indiana Jones. I would guess Elden Ring release date for Switch 2, and then I would also guess a bunch of other studios coming out and saying, all right, here are games we released 2 or 3 years ago, they're all coming to Switch 2 as well. I think we'll get a lot of that. But I don't know how much time you would commit to that for a Game Awards thing, because that feels more like just press release stuff, doesn't it? Unless it's a big game. Unless it's something notable.
I've got one that I think's pretty nailed on. I think you get, at the end of the night, Expedition 33 on Switch 2. I think that's there with one game of the year. Here it is on Switch 2. And I also think in a similar vein, I think you get Hades 2 on PlayStation and Xbox, so it's currently only on PC and Switch, so that's an easy one as well.
We're probably going to get Death Stranding PC as well, aren't we?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I think it'll be a lot of that kind of stuff, a lot of like a lot of maybe new ports of games that already happen. I feel like we've been waiting for 40 years for all these Xbox games to go to Switch, but Xbox obviously don't really play.
I think it's going to be a big show. The vibes that I'm getting is that it's going to be another big one.
Yeah.
Usually, in the press, you start hearing pushback if it's not going to be great. You start getting the temper expectations, and we've got some stuff where from what I'm hearing now is like, it's the same things I heard on the previous two. I think there's some good stuff. It'll be a good one.
I wonder if this is the day where Phil Spencer walks out hand in hand with Doug Bowser right before he retires. Doug Bowser goes, right, folks, I'm off. Devin Pritchard is taking over from me on the 31st of December, I believe. Before we go, I just want to recommit our partnership with Xbox. And Spencer says, here's all the games that are all coming to Switch 2. See you later.
By the way, I'm also retiring.
A tearful embrace on stage.
Doug Bowser comes out and retires and goes, I'm retiring, and I know we said that that's Donnie's taking over for me, but it's actually Phil Spencer that's taking over for me. He's the new president. And
he goes, Phil Spencer death. Konnichiwa.
Phil Spencer death.
That'd be amazing. Tell you who I hope we see from, because they've got nothing announced now, is Digital Eclipse. They always come. Digital Eclipse and Night Dive always have something to show at one of these events, at whatever retro thing they're working on next. Now that Mortal Kombat's out, Digital Eclipse has got nothing announced, and I spoke to Wade Rosen at Atari over the Gamescom, and he said that there's lots of stuff lined up at Digital Eclipse, so I'd imagine we'll see something from them, whatever their next big compilation is. I'd imagine we might see something of that, which would be exciting because they can do no wrong just now, from what I can tell. Other than that, it seems, I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic for this one. I think we're going to get some. You always get some bombshells that nobody was expecting that come out of absolutely nowhere. I would guess we're going to get a couple of those, but that's pure guesswork. I mean, there's always at least one big thing that nobody knew was coming. And I'm hoping. You're muted, Andy.
Absurd Ventures, Dan Houser's game. It's not really, it's not really been marketed that heavily, has it? I wouldn't be surprised if that popped up. I think that they're LA based. I understand Dan Houser's a neighbour of Jeff's as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if that, the new thing from the writer of Red Dead and GTA.
I think will happen. In terms of Dan Houser, and this is going to really piss everyone off, I think Dan Houser will turn up. Keely will introduce him. Here's the writer of the Grand Theft Auto series, Dan Houser. And Houser goes, all right. Dan Houser comes out, and all he pushes is his book again, because he's everywhere pushing his book just now. Yeah. And he goes, the game's years off, mate. Just go buy my book, Beyond Paradise, whatever it's called, and then just fucks off.
In the meantime, play Mind's Eye. I was going to say, I know that we said that Xbox don't really play, but what if maybe some Bethesda announcements, like Wolfenstein 3? That's very clearly happening. This could be a place to do that one. I think that machine games should be bloody being there to not accept, because they wouldn't win, but they should be at least nominated for Game of the Bloody Year for Indiana Jones. So it'd be cool to see them come out and talk about the
Maybe
next
some
Wolf
Fallout
game.
stuff. Maybe a Fallout game on Switch too, or something. Just any kind of Fallout news to tie in with the series.
It's fucking beyond bizarre that 3 and New Vegas aren't on the Switch. It's mental that 3 and New Vegas never came to the original Switch, considering they're Xbox 360 games. But the fact that it's like, yeah, I think something like that may happen. There will almost certainly, and I don't know if I've even said this, but there will be like I bet you Walton Goggins and Ella Purnell will be there to be like, here's the trailer for season 2 of the Fallout TV show. What about a new Assassin's Creed? Obviously, they're making they make them with different studios. They've got, I think, Hexa is the next one.
Have Ubisoft ever announced anything at any of Jeff's shows?
It's a great
They did
question.
the Skull and Bones musical performance.
And Bones.
Was Far Cry 6 there,
Bones.
maybe?
I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you, to be honest.
I don't think it was.
What have
I'm
we got this year
back-checking.
in terms of musical performances? I heard a wee birdie tell me that Evanescence is going to be there.
Oh,
Am I
really?
making that up?
They announced it, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good.
That'd be sick, to be fair.
They've not been going for a while, have they? Is this a comeback?
No, Evanescence have still been kicking a ball.
Have they?
Amy Lee looks amazing. She's like no ace at all. I mean, musical performances, you'll get like the entire Clear Obscure soundtrack, I assume.
Who's going to be the surprise movie star this year?
It needs to be a B tier.
Brie Larson, has she done it before?
Brie Larson's a good shout.
I
She'll be pushing
saw
loads of
someone call this on a forum, and it's pretty spot on. What if Uma Thurman and Quentin Tarantino turn up?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Quentin Tarantino turns up and goes, "Fuck Paul Dano," and then just walks away and doesn't actually say what he was supposed to say.
I think your random celebrity will be young Gaten Matarazzo from Stranger Things. Known gamer.
Yeah.
It's
He'll come
usually
out to push
whoever
Stranger Things.
Hideo Kojima wants to meet, right?
Yeah. Dig up.
I mean, I don't think Al Pacino was promoting anything.
That's right. I totally forgot Pacino.
And then he's like, just as far as him after, just like at dinner with Kojima.
Oh, a great fan of Elden Ring. Yeah.
I mean, they had, was it last year? Harrison Ford turned up for an Indiana Jones game.
Yeah,
right.
that was good. That was actually brilliant.
Allegedly coked it is not. Maybe De Niro then. Do we go for De Niro this year and complete the AAA? Or Tom Cruise? He's not up too much these days. I say, did they go A list or did they go B list with actors? Because Pacino's A list.
Yeah.
Like that,
Yeah, but
that was a big get.
Pacino's only is Pacino A-list in 2025 though? I don't think it is.
But if you want to go
not
down that
nowadays,
route, mate, in 2025 there are no movie stars.
Timothy Chalamet is a movie star. I would say Timothy Chalamet can open a film. That's the definition of a movie star.
Yeah, he's the biggest
wouldn't open my back
male
door if he was
actor
standing
like
in the gap.
of his generation right now. But it's a massive step down from like Tom Cruise, Leonardo DiCaprio, etc. Right, the movie star is dying off just because of the nature of the beast. You know,
It's
movies that
Timothy
don't have the
Chalamet.
cultural cachet that they used to.
Ben Starr. It's I think that's it.
Ben Starr will be there 100%.
The biggest
well, it's
movie
got to
stars
be
today
Henry
are like
'cause he's-
Zendaya
Yep.
and Timothy Chalamet and
What's his name?
whoever's in Marvel.
Zendaya's man.
Tom
Spider-Man.
Holland.
Tom Holland. Yeah,
Yeah.
He'll
Tom
think he'll
Holland.
come out and announce Uncharted 2.
basically the cast of
movie.
June.
Yeah.
And every
Big-
Marvel actor.
Big Duncan Idaho's going to be there. Jack Black will be there doing something stupid. But put your money on that. Here with a new trailer for the film Anaconda, which is apparently real.
Are they remaking the Jennifer Lopez one?
So it's a film.
There's a trailer.
There's a trailer. for it.
I think he looks all right.
It's a film about making the
Yeah,
film.
the premise is they are
Oh.
remaking the film Anaconda.
That's very meta.
Yeah,
I like
and
that.
they've just called it Anaconda, which is very. Chris, you get one guess. What is the song in the trailer?
Baby Got Back.
Correct.
Sir Mix-a-Lot. My Anaconda don't want none unless you got
Exactly.
one fun. Is it that
But it's
line?
cut with wah.
Oh, in that case. Like, literally the only song with the word Anaconda in the lyrics. Yeah,
Paul Rudd really lowering himself. So I think that's how it's going to end. The Game Awards is going to finish with a trailer for Anaconda.
Well, Paul Rudd might come out. Has he been? He must have been in the Game Awards or something like that before. Paul Rudd. He turns up to the opening in an envelope these days.
Last year, everyone ended up back at Snoop Dogg's house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeffrey's all round.
Smoking the hefty Jeffrey.
You had to sign an NDA as soon as you got there. They wouldn't let you in unless you signed an NDA.
Smoke weed, NDA. What else?
Will we see the big sandwich this year?
Oh, that's right.
That's a good point.
Sandwich.
Can we predict the length of the big sandwich? Well, I mean,
Me and Christopher Dring were eating that big sandwich. It was in CD Projekt's suite. Because what happens, this in LA, is they stop serving alcohol at a certain point. So then you have to go somewhere else. So usually any game developers who are prepared have a stash of booze. So we ended up back at CD Projekt's whatever. I think they had it probably for interviews or something. And the big sandwich was in there. And me and Christopher Dring had a munch on this big sandwich. You know what? It tasted way better than any foot long, I'd say multiple foot long, right? It's got to be about a 6 foot sandwich that's been there in the California sun for a day, had any right to taste. It was delicious.
Marinated.
If you watch the vlog is available on Patreon. If anyone wants to know the inside story of the big sandwich.
The Big Sandwich Chronicles. As we round the corner here, since we're talking absolute nonsense, is there anything outstanding that we've totally missed? Like, we assume. I mean, look,
everyone's going up talking about Half-Life 3 at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
I would be stunned if Half-Life 3 is at the Game Awards.
Yeah, that's clipped.
I mean, this is. I am opening myself up here to get, because I don't have any inside information about this, right? But Valve can do whatever they want.
Yeah,
there's a reason why GTA's not there. They don't. You don't. Why do you? I mean, Jeff wouldn't charge you for Half-Life 3. He'd let you. He'd do that one for free. And he has a connection. To be fair, he has a long connection. Obviously, he did the original behind the scenes development story for the original Half-Life. So actually, I've just convinced myself. Maybe it is that. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. Don't clip that first bit. I suppose it's not completely impossible because he does have a connection with Valve, and I guess they didn't really announce a game while this was going on. This is what, the 11th Game Awards. I mean, their last other than Counter-Strike updates and stuff, which they just put on social media, like Portal 2 is pre-TGAs. So maybe. I mean, certainly, if it's not at the TGAs, I don't know why they would be announcing it this week.
Here's one I'd like to see, and this is completely left field, and there's no indication that this will be here, but a little-known game by the name of No Straight Roads 2, which I saw earlier this year, and I loved the first one. It was basically K-pop Demon Hunters before K-pop Demon Hunters existed. It's a Malaysian game where you're a rock band fighting EDM people, fighting the EDM music. And the sequel is coming out next year, and I saw a bit of it at Gamescom, and it looks excellent. This seems like the ideal kind of environment for it to be shown off, because it's one of those games that is immediately visually striking, and the thing is, as soon as people see it, go, that looks cool as fuck. So if they can somehow get that on the Game Awards, I think that would be a kind of a highlight. But again, that's pure guesswork. I've no reason to believe it's going to be there, but I'd like to see it. That's a like to see.
Boys, I'll tell you exactly how this is going to go. Right at the end, a black screen. It opens up. Oh, you see a little gold coin, and you see a little furry hand touching the coin. Puts it into the top of a machine. It goes ping, ping, ping. It lands on a bed of coins that slide forward and back, and then pushes certain coins into the next bed of coins. Out on stage, Johnny Raccoon to announce their release date for Racoin 2026 Game of the Year, and it's out tonight.
I tell you, I in terms of Nintendo,
everyone
stuff,
leaves the auditorium.
I would leave my desk
down.
It causes a DDoS attack on the Peacock Theatre because everyone's trying to download Racoin.
In terms of, I was wondering if Nintendo would be there. It seems like the sort of situation where if Nintendo was there, they might announce a date for the Mario Wonder Switch 2 edition, or a Switch 2 edition or something, rather than a brand new game. And they might say
just a wee dangler.
They don't. I just don't know. I don't.
I don't know.
They've not been there for a while, right? I one of the, I can't remember which one's not a fan, if it's Japan or US side. But they're obviously change of management in the US. If they, you got it from a marketing perspective, if you're going to the Game Awards and you're Nintendo, you have to have a reason to do it. Like an update for an existing game, you do that in a Nintendo Direct. That's why I was kind of suggesting that maybe Dustbloods, because there's a good marketing reason to do that. Like the big sell for the Game Awards these days, their competition is, like the first party shows and stuff, right? So their sell is, well, we are the multi-platform show. If you're PlayStation and you're announcing, Ghost of Yote here, you're getting Xbox players, PC players, Nintendo players, etc. also watching that. They're not necessarily going to tune into a state of play to see that information. So that's why you would do it, really. So Dustbloods kind of makes sense. I don't know if they would do a release date.
You've just
like, I mean, like Joker, right? Joker is a non-Nintendo character.
Yeah,
that was not on Persona was not on Nintendo platform at that stage, so it kind of makes sense that we announce that there, and then maybe some of those players will come and get a Switch and play Smash Brothers.
You just mentioned Ghost of Yote. I could see us getting a release date for Ghost of Yote Legends. All they've said is 2026, so that would be an easy trailer to drop in, and then you could go more information in February when we're doing our actual big song and dance about it. But yeah, there's I'm excited for it. This is my favorite show to watch by a mile, because it's always it's the last one that has that kind of E3 excitement to me. But,
also, a wee public service announcement as well.
Here we go.
Usually after a Summer Game Fest or a Game Awards, they do the Day of the Devs kind of showcase where they show a bunch of really cool looking indie stuff. This year it's airing the day before
Smart.
Game Awards for some reason. So Day of the Devs is on Wednesday, whatever the 10th is, Wednesday. And then the Game Awards is the Thursday. As is usually the case, and I'm allowed to say this, but I've been shown the Day of the Devs showcase already, and there's some really cool stuff in there. So it's definitely worth a watch, and then we'll have coverage after it airs, like we usually do, so you can get a better look at everything that's announced. But it's a nice wee aperitif before the main course that is the Game Awards.
A wee je ne sais quoi. Okay, let's leave that there. Your full Game Awards coverage will be on VGC, obviously. Myself and the one and only Chris Scullion will be knocking our pans in to get all the news up on the night of the show. Then the day after, VGC the Video Game Podcast will be me and Chris Scullion, incredibly sleep deprived, picking through all of the bones. When are you heading out, Andy? Today? Tomorrow? Has Andy frozen?
No, he's still there. He's just having a good think about it. His headphones aren't working anymore.
That
doesn't bode well for the travel. We'll not having to listen to it.
Exactly. We just have to be content with his own thoughts.
That's a sad
so
day.
we'll keep on tenterhooks for when Andy's leaving, but I'm sure he'll post it on.
Sorry, no, I've had my AirPods tuned out for some reason. What was the question? I didn't hear you.
He's back.
When are you leaving for the City of Angels?
Tomorrow morning. So there'll be lots. I'll put lots of stuff on the Patreon, lots of stuff on the Discord. And
let's not specify what day that is in case you get a Beatles mania type situation, either at Heathrow or at LAX. Let's just not dox you, but just.
I can only assume.
So there'll be plenty of behind the scenes updates throughout the week.
Nice. Are you flying with our beloved British Airways?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes.
Although I went through American. It's a BA flight, which I went through American just so I could be one further point removed from the filth.
Well, look forward to January's off topic where we'll be ranting about how Andy fell out the window at 35,000 feet.
By the way, it's now December, still not been refunded.
Yeah. We'll find out who he got checked in as. It'll all be a very big, exciting extra dimension of pressure when flying to the US. Until next time, patreon.com/Video Games Chronicle. Be sure to check out our December Patreon pledge drive, in which the VGC members have already unlocked dozens and dozens of extra bits of content. Say goodbye, Chris Scullion.
Goodbye, Chris Scullion.
Say goodbye, Andy.
Goodbye.
enjoy the Game Awards, and we'll see you next time.